In order to advance the theory of the state, it is indispensable to take into account not only the distinction between state power and state apparatus, but also another reality which is clearly on the side of the repressive state apparatus, but this must not be confused with it. I shall call this reality by its concept, the ideological state apparatus. What are the ideological state apparatuses, or ISAs? They must not be confused with the repressive state apparatus. Remember that in Marxist theory, the state apparatus contains the government, the administration, the army, the police, the courts, the prisons, etc., which I shall in the future call the repressive state apparatus. Repressive suggests that the state apparatus in question functions by violence, at least ultimately, since repression or administrative repression may take non-physical forms. I shall call ideological state apparatuses a certain number of realities which present themselves to the immediate observer in the form of distinct and specialized institutions. I propose an empirical list of these which will obviously have to be examined in detail, tested, corrected, and reorganized. With all the reservations implied by this requirement, we can for the moment regard the following institutions as ideological state apparatuses: the religious ISA, the educational ISA, the family ISA.
Why are we moving?
We're moving so that we can be the happiest family in the whole world.
Welcome to Stepford. Stepford is the family paradise. It has no crime, no poverty, and no pushing.
The legal ISA, the political ISA, the political system, including the different parties, the trade union ISA, the communications ISA, the cultural ISA. I have said that the ISAs must not be confused with the repressive state apparatus. What constitutes the difference? What distinguishes the ISAs from the repressive state apparatus is the following basic difference. The repressive state apparatus functions by violence, whereas the ideological state apparatuses function by ideology. I can clarify matters by correcting this distinction. I shall say rather that every state apparatus, whether repressive or ideological, functions both by violence and by ideology, but with one very important distinction, which makes it imperative not to confuse the ideological state apparatuses with the repressive state apparatuses. This is the fact that the repressive state apparatus functions massively and predominantly by repression, including physical repression, while functioning secondarily as ideology. There is no such thing as a purely repressive apparatus. For example, the army and the police also function by ideology, both to ensure their own cohesion and reproduction and in the values they propound externally. In the same way, but inversely, it is essential to say that for their part, the ideological state apparatuses function massively and predominantly by ideology, but they also function secondarily by repression, even if ultimately, but only ultimately, this is attenuated and concealed, even symbolic. There is no such thing as a purely ideological apparatus. Thus, schools and churches use suitable methods of punishment, expulsion, selection, etc., to discipline not only their shepherds, but also their flocks.